Hi there, just another short video. I'm going to say the collection is undergoing tidying up, and I've had to bring some of the bulbs down to the living room, which this is. Excuse the mess. If you see any dust, it's antique dust. Your bulbs here, we got on this side. We got some little night lights. American ones, and there's one plugged in there. And further over, my little table. That cactus is not mine, it's waiting to go out to someone else. A few more bits and bobs. 2 razors which I use, only use one at a time. This one on the side there, the bluey colour ones, well they're both brawn, that's a brawn or brown. That was a boot sale job. I think I paid a couple of quid for it. When I got it home, the razor lasted about 5 minutes on a charge. So I whipped it apart, put a new battery in, rechargeable battery, as good as gold. The clock you see is a Hermel, German made. This is actually battery operated. You know, it strikes the hour and the half hour on 2 little bells. I think it's wound up on the hour and half hour because when the chimes strike, the little motor inside turns round, and that, I think, in turn, apart from ringing the bell, also winds up a spring which gives power to the pendulum. This was a bit of a job to set up because I moved it and the battery that was in there was flat, more than flat, was producing white powders at one of the ends. My nice lamp there. That I've talked about many times. It's a boot sale job from America with a toroidal choke or ballast, and that would go in the base. It's actually made out of a shell case with the old Circline tube, and the lamp in the middle is a 3-way lamp from America, because this obviously is working on 120 volts. Nice old telephone there. See, I have mentioned telephones. This is KTAS, that's the Copenhagen Telephone Authority. I think it's about 1930s. It's not a reproduction one. It is a genuine phone, and it cost me nothing. Bought it on eBay. The dial that was on it had been damaged, so I got back to the seller and said, "Oh God, no, really upset, the dial's damaged." And he said, "Oh, skip payment, it's on the house." In other words, it didn't cost me anything, so I was grateful. And just by chance I had a spare dial which is put on there. In fact, it's a trigger dial. Trigger dials was what the early English phones used to have, and this is the same type of mechanism. Anyway, let me show you 2 of my pussycats. There's one of them. They mainly think of food. Mia, the white one's upstairs on the bed. And there's my other one. Spoilt, as you can see. Excuse the state of some of these chairs, have been ripped a bit. That's a thing you have to put up with if you have pussycats. Behind there we have that lamp there is American. Show you the type of holder with the on-off switch. Unusual type that is, I think. Well, that's America. That's also on 110 volts. Coming round probably wondering why so many hanging barometers and clocks. Yeah, you could say I'm probably mad. But it's all interest. Here we have an old Grundig radio which works perfectly. I just turn it on.
Any more detail, but we do know what has been leaked so far, and we do know that Mrs May, the Prime Minister, faces that crunch.
That's the news. All they talk about now is Brexit. To be quite honest, I get sick of it.
A decision later on whether they back or reject TheresaMay's Brexit agreement.
Here we are, Brexit. Sure to turn the radio on in this country any time they mention Brexit. In my opinion, not a very good thing, because I've got friends that are on the continent. They don't know whether they're going to be allowed to stay or sent back to the UK. Anyhow, I'm not going to make it too political. That down there is Atmos clock, which is in need of a little bit of tender loving care. To repair it is above me, so it's not something I can do, so that'll have to be sent away to be done properly. I mentioned somewhere, let's pick it up. I think I mentioned this on the Lighting Gallery web. This is a grow light LED, and each one is an LED. Don't ask me how many's there, but there's quite a few. And every one of those works. Just screws into a normal Edison screw holder, 240 volts. As I say, please excuse the dust. There's quite a bit of it. There's an old generator there with the crank handle, an old 5 amp plug and socket. That's made out of wood, probably lignin vitae. Not a transformer, a dynamo torch. A clock there. Don't look at the safe. The only thing in that safe is air. And my head going a bit higher. Got a nice barograph. I don't look very healthy, but I think it is. Clocks, we've got a Ruhmkorff coil. That gives high voltages. Mind you, it won't kill you. It's not like, well, I'm not going to mention it again. I've said it in my last video. Some more bits and bobs. And above there, we just have a few more lamps. Look at that dust on there. It shows you I haven't dusted that for donkey's years. Thermometers hanging up behind. Some more lamps. And at the top, I haven't sorted through these for ages. I've got plenty of stuff to put up on the gallery. As I said before, the lighting gallery net, gallery of lights, and all things lighting. They're the three main English speaking forums. They're very, very good. They do cause a bit of controversy at times, but they're interesting nevertheless. Coming around a bit further, we have a stick type barometer. This was an Admiral Fitzroy. Now, I remember getting this. I was a kid at the time, and my neighbour next door to where I used to live, he wanted to pick up a small piano, and he said, I know where there's one going. It's in a junk shop in Merton. So we jumped in his car, went off to Merton. He picked up his piano, and also in the shop was that. And I gave £20 for that. That was in the 50s, had to be. Admiral Fitzroy Storm Barometer. A few more barometers. There, we got a clock on the mantelpiece. That's by Toshiba. Toshiba makes loads of stuff, from high-speed lifts, lamps. They were Japan's first lamp makers. This was licensed by Edison. So they made a lot of stuff. They make scanners, MRIs, you name it, they make it. Above there we have what's called a Viennese regulator. This, I believe, is made by Becker. I'm not 100% certain. I think it's Gustav Becker. Someone knows any different, please let me know. I've had that a long time. There's, as you see, it's got one weight, so there's no chimes on it or bells. It's just a timepiece. Further over, more barometers. That banjo barometer you can see is made by Mr. Spelzini from Italy, and I met his grandson many years ago. The grandson was after a particular knife, not to kill people with, that we quickly had, but for his collection. This was a long time ago as well, and he went to a shop uptown, this was in North London, they've gone now, who sold barometers, and he just happened to say to them, "Oh, do you do this particular type of knife?" And they said, "Well, we don't normally, but leave your name and address, and if one turns up, we will let you know." Anyway, he gave his name, Spelzini. And the owner of the shop couldn't believe what he heard. He said, "Do you realise Spelzini was a famous barometer maker in London?" He said, "No, I didn't know that." Anyhow, when he got home, he mentioned that to his parents. And his father said, "Oh yeah, that was your grandfather." So we do live in a very small world. Anyhow, when I went back to the shop, they had a customer's one of these in, which is this one you're seeing. And I bought it. As remember, I didn't pay much for it, and now these things go for quite, well, you know, they're not cheap. Moving around a bit, once again, excuse the dust, we've got a Galileo thermometer, a very unusual group of lamps. That one at the back is not a lamp. I will check that up later, what it is. I was told, it's a bit of history. Next to it we've got a lamp which would have been used on a tall building or a bridge as a special base, which is a pre-focus base. Next to that, and I have got the glass dome that goes over the top of it, is a Bull, French. That's electrically operated. That keeps very good time. Next to that we've got another Galileo thermometer. Next to that we've got another lamp which was thought to be used, perhaps not directly as a lighthouse lamp, but it was certainly used to signal ships, so we think. More barometers. Fishes. This tank has only got the 2 fish at the moment. That's what I've got to do next. Buy some more fishes. These fish I've had for years. The plants are not looking very healthy. Now this was one of the, I say, disadvantages of that type of lighting. I don't know if you can see it, but they're LED. They do make the plants grow, and they make the algae grow as well. So, you know, you have to make sure that if you're having a filter running, incorporate, and this filter is incorporated with it, a UV source which sterilises the water as it goes through it and kills off any floating spores of algae. A few more bits and bobs at the bottom. I really must get the old duster out, sorry about that. The long case clock. I've had that a few years as well. The shop I got that from is no longer there. The bulb in the room is an LED lamp. We've got some sansevierias growing by the window. Pile of books. Not a novel in sight. I don't read storybooks. All the books I read tend to be either technical books. I've got them on catalogues and things like that. Over there we've got a couple of radios. We've got a little Ultra at the top and a Derwent set below. Derwent were sets which you could hire out at the time. This is sort of wartime. It's a nice little set actually. Before we come to that, we've got a flicker candle from Russia. We've got torsion clock, if you like, with the globe going around it. The name of that has slipped me. And next to it we've got a skeleton clock. This would have been made up as a kit. I picked it up years ago at a boot sale. There's the name on it. There it shows up. Anyhow, I'm gonna knock it on the head now. The old computer's on. A few more bits and bobs over there. More barometers. As you can see, they're everywhere. Anyhow, once again, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. And thanks again. Any comments, obviously, make. I didn't show the other side of there as well. That was the other side of the wall. The clock in the corner there's actually American, but it needs a little bit of loving care to make it work. I haven't got round to it. So anyhow, thanks again for watching. Thank you. Any questions, I say, please ask, please subscribe, please comment, good or bad, I don't care. Remember, I'm thick-skinned. Once again, thanks. Thank you.